Today, on Gay Bomb number 2, I'm going to be discussing a mistranslation of a word that really saddens me to the core. It has to do with this Hebrew word right here, tova, which in modern day English translations has been translated in the two Levitical passages having to do with homosexuality as abomination and detestable. And some preachers have even gone as far as to say that this word describes something that makes God want to vomit, which has a very weak basis and completely unacceptable. So let's figure out what this word really means. First, a little background on Leviticus. Leviticus was written right after the Persians overthrew the Babylonian kingdom and thus rescued the Jewish people from Babylonian captivity. The Persians then in turn gave the Jewish people land and religious freedom. Now, the Jewish people had landed themselves into captivity because of their disobedience to God, because of their breaking of God's rules and laws. And so they knew that if they were to break these rules and laws again to the extent that they had before, then the Lord God would take away the land and the new freedom that they had. And these rules were all centered around the goal of avoiding making a Jew resemble a pagan. Again, God wanted his people to stick out like a sore thumb amongst all the other cultures. So all these specific rules, that many of which don't apply today, were aimed towards that end in the Old Covenant. And homosexuality was one of these rules. Now, taking stock of all of these rules that were described as toeva, what has traditionally been translated as abomination or detestable, is the only logical conclusion to say that this word does not mean horrible sin, but rather ritual impurity or unclean. Now, this is where the opposing view reels back and says, whoa, 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 you pro-gay crazies. You can't say that. Look at Leviticus 19 and look at what homosexuality is listed alongside of. Also amongst the abominations listed are sleeping with somebody else's wife, sleeping with your own mother, and bestiality. Surely you're not saying those are ritual impurities. Actually, that's exactly what I'm saying. You see, all the things I just listed can be linked to cultic practices associated with pagan religions. But the thing that the opposing view misses is that something can be both a ritual impurity and a horrible sin. The word toeva doesn't lend any ethical judgment to these terms. It's only saying that they all are grouped together in the subgroup of ritual impurities and are thus unclean. Okay, now you're saying to yourself, whoa, Stefan, that sounds like a nice speculation, but what are you basing this on? Well, in response, let me list some other things that are also labeled as toeva.